So Bam Margera is alive, apparently. He posted a video on, not his own account, but like someone else's account, talking about how he was in the hospital with pneumonia and or COVID. And it's all really weird. I thought for sure he was gone, because I've studied this stuff with these celebrities in connection with the beast, and the way they set up the end for each person, and the way they sort of ply the public with information and put all the ducks in a row for the announcement. And it's weird, man. It's almost like they were for sure certain he was going to be dead, and then he lived. I mean, usually, or how it's been, is if you get the thing, or if they say you have the thing, I'll just wait for these loud boys to go by. Yeah, we got it. Why you driving so slow if it's so important, bro? That's typical, though. It's like pretend hurry. He's gonna pretend hurry. But, yeah, there's a certain way they do these things because there's ritual involved with all this stuff. Sometimes it's minor things, you know, dates and names of things, streets or stuff involved in the story, or it's more extreme stuff like what we saw with Bowie and Michael Jackson and Prince, where they actually go on TV after they've died and pretend to be a loved one. That's pretty wacky shit. But there's always some kind of ritual that surrounds these deaths. So it just looked to me like, after seeing so many of these, that he was going to be gone. And then Vice released that special from 2017. And when I first started watching that thing, I thought it was new. I was like, oh, good, man, the guy's got his shit together, you know? And it was only after that I realized it was older, when I looked in the comments. And that was released the same day that the news came out that the previous day to that, he had been in the hospital with the thing and was on a vent. Yeah, what I was going to say before is, the way this has worked so far is, if you had the thing and you were then put on a vent because of the thing, the next stop was Land of the Deadies. It was Land of the Deadies. That's how it worked. And then the hospital gets a little chunk of change for doing that, and you know, things move on. But so it just looked like all the ducks were in a row for this guy's finish. And yeah, not so. Well, good. I mean, you know, I hope he beats this whole thing, but who knows, you know. I'll keep my eye on it, though, because it is really weird. I would have bet anything that the announcement was coming. And plus, his merchandising is tied up in some kind of business venture, too, which still advertises a lot. And they sell his shit with his, like, you know, logo on it and stuff. And you always have to look at stuff like that, like who stands to make money out of it. But, and then, yeah, I mean, whatever. The whole thing is weird. This girl here, lady, does a good job of summarizing everything. She's been following it pretty closely. She's good, she's funny. So if you're interested in the story, she's got it all there. This is the best time to be out here, like morning, before 9 a.m. or just around 9 a.m. So a lot of the nonsense hasn't ramped up yet. People are too tired to generate nonsense. It's too early in the morning. And there's more room, you know. So I like coming out this time. It's the best time to go to the beach, which I probably should do this afternoon. I'll make it sound like it's like a trip. It's actually 5 minutes from my fucking house. I could get out of my bed and be in the ocean within 10 minutes. But I always make it seem like it's this, the beach is right there, right behind these buildings. These buildings I'm always walking by, it's right there. So it's not like I'm going down anywhere. That's why you can't get lost in this place. It's just, you have the mountains on one side, the beach on the other side, and all you have to do is look and see where you are in relation to one of those two things, and then you're not lost anymore. Everything's really close. I remember when I first moved here, I was like taking the bus places, so it gave the illusion that a lot of these destinations are far away, because the bus ride, the transportation here is great. Like, it's constant. There's always buses picking people up in all hours. But the thing is they also stop everywhere too. Like, they have a lot of stops that they do. So it can make it seem like you're traveling for a long time. What the hell's going on here? There's somebody there meetings. I have no idea. They're always doing stuff, events and things, and meeting different people. But yeah, so it can make it seem like they're far away. I remember when I was really into going to Chinatown, and what's all that about? Screaming, now I have to look. I have no idea. So, yeah, I used to think it was like far away until one day, it was on a Sunday, and I was down there, and like something happened with the buses. They either weren't going to be running, or it was going to take a long time for the bus to get there. So I just started walking toward the house, walking home, and it was like I got home from there in 40 minutes, just walking. And I was like, oh, everything is really close. It's just that if you take the bus and the bus stops at every corner, right, on the way to wherever you're going, it creates this illusion that things are far away. But no, everything's like kind of right on top of itself. It's a small island anyway. You get like 40 square miles. You could go around the whole thing in a couple hours by car, But and that has its good points and its bad points too. It's just such a weird place, like as far as where it sits on the map, or for where they say it sits on the map. I don't trust saying that shit. It's kind of out in the middle of nowhere in relation to everything else. It's like, how would you even find that place? But I believe it was part of a larger piece of land. There's a lot of stuff about it being part of Lemuria at some point, or the land that Lemuria was on, parts of which could still be underneath us, under the water. That would answer a lot of questions about where the negative vortexes come from. Lemuria, from what I understand and what I pieced together, was, while it was a sister city to Atlantis, they would use magic that Atlantis wouldn't. It was like a different kind of thing. They were like alternating current. Atlantis was direct current, except Lemuria was a little bit darker than that. They would do things that would almost be considered black magic today. There was some necromancy involved, all kinds of different things that painted them in more of a chaotic kind of light than I guess the more pure stuff they were doing in Atlantis, from what I understand. I mean, you hear a lot of different things. It's kind of hard sometimes to piece it all together. There's no pattern with this stuff. Like, a lot of times I can look at the situation and I could see the pattern, and it just kind of all falls together. Atlantis and Lemuria research, it doesn't do that. It's obfuscated, I think, by some kind of magic itself that keeps you from being able to penetrate exactly what's going on there. In the same way that the Cretes do it, The farmers have a sort of similar thing. Alright, we're heading over to the house now. Kinda. Sorta. So yeah. Lemuria, Atlantis, Bay of Margera. And that's it. Don't blame the teacher, blame the school.